What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA DFS Wise Stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I, of course, am from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on any of the social media platforms listed above or directly at WiseTake.com if you're looking to step up and or improve your DFS game. We are a premium DFS content provider and community designed to help make you a better DFS player. Shout out to those of you who were waiting. Shout out to the WiseTake Nation core members. We recognize you. We see you. Not going to talk too much myself about the Kobe Bryant deal. I talked about that on the First Look podcast, which, by the way, if you don't know about that or have access to that, you can find it on Apple Podcasts and Podbean, WiseTake.podbean.com. Apple Podcasts, just search WiseTake. You can find it there. But we do the First Look Monday through Friday. Well, I do the First Look Monday through Friday. I play some classical music in the back and go over my thoughts. I talked a little bit about Kobe there. Not going to make this about me. This isn't about me. This isn't about any of us. This is about Kobe and his family and the ones that knew him personally, the ones that were influenced by him, everything. So not going to spend too much time on that. Already talked about that. Maybe we'll see Paulie's thoughts. But yeah, rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in power. Rest in peace, everything. With that said, we've got a 6-game slate to move on with today. 6 games is definitely... 6 games is... Charles Walker's got a... Hold on. In the YouTube chat, Charles Walker's got an interesting question. What's different between... from our crew versus others? There's things that... I'll let the nation tell you. So, nation in the YouTube chat, help him out, man. Charles Walker, it's a good question. There's a lot of people. We started doing this 3 years ago, and since between then and now, we've got a lot of other competition, right? A lot of people popping up on YouTube. A lot of DFS sites popping up. So, nation, I'm gonna let you guys tell them. I want to hear from you. Well, what do you think makes us different from everyone else? The people that have been with us, a lot of you for the last 3 years. I want to hear from you. But Charles Walker, shout out to you, bro. Great question. My initial, like the first thing pops in my head if somebody asks me that. I mean, how do I say this without being mean to some of the others? Because I'm not trying to diss on or hate on some of the other people that are doing their thing either. You know, when I first started, I didn't want nobody doing that to me. So try not to, but we're cool. How about that? We're cool. Aside from that, I'll let the nation answer the rest of the question. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this first game. So this is going to be a really chalky slate. I know I saw MG in the Slack chat. He's a little upset. Slate kind of got ruined. I know. The Rockets are going to be major chalk, it looks like. And for good reason, with James Harden expected to be out. Russell Westbrook, we know, is out. And now Clint Capella is out. The San Antonio Spurs also, I would imagine, are going to be somewhat popular, right? Jacob Poeltl especially, being that LaMarcus Aldridge is out. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of chalk. MG made a point in the chat also saying that he felt like this slate was one of those things where you're going to see a lot of chalk go off, and then it's going to be like 1 or 2 pivots. And I kind of agree with that. Now, what's interesting is when you look at the Rockets as a team, and we'll get to the Rockets later, we do the game by game, but what's interesting is when you get to the Rockets, you don't need all that value because there's not exactly, it's like even Luka is like 11-9 on DraftKings, and he's never been that expensive on FanDuel anyway. So you don't need all that value necessarily. You're going to need some of it, but you're either going to have to, like, you're going to want to pick and choose, especially because the main places to spend your money today are at guard and at center. So when guys come to mind like Jacob Poeltl for San Antonio or Hardin Stein, who's center eligible for the Rockets, Rivers, I'm not saying you can't find ways to play them together, but say you were to play Rivers and Poeltl and Hardin Stein, all 3 of those guys, which I think, you know, in people's minds, they might be thinking that. And on FanDuel, it's a different story. You got Gordon's like lock button status today at 4-4. We'll talk about Gordon when we get to the Rockets. But point being, if you end up with more Harden Stein and Poeltl, then you may not need as much Austin Rivers because you might want to spend that money there for Luka at the guard position, or DeRozan, or you get my point. Fox. But if you want to play more Cat, if you want to play more Drummond, if you want to play more Gobert, which is certainly viable, all three of those guys in very good spots, we'll talk about that in a sec, then maybe you do need some of those Austin Rivers guys. Or maybe you go balance, you don't need any of them. We'll see. With that said, let's get things rolling with the first game here. We've got I like Wiggs' answer. We drop dirties and sevens. That's right. I like Wiggs' answer. That's how we're different. Charles, that's how we're different, bro. We drop dirties and sevens. Do dirties to the neighbor for the dirties under you. That's what we do. Shout out to Wig. All right, first game, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Detroit Pistons. We've got hold on. I'm going to pull up John Irvin's schedule notes. We've been putting it up on the site for free, just to give people like a schedule starting point. You know, when you start your day, this should be one of the first things you look at when he does do it. He does it most days, but when he does it, this should be one of the first things you look at. I mean, I use it more so for the sports betting aspect to find schedule mismatches, but here we go. So, first up, so the Cavs have had one day off, and they play tomorrow. Detroit has had one day off, but this is actually a 4-6. So they're both somewhat tired. Cleveland again has to play tomorrow. They got to be conscious of that. Detroit is a 7-point favorite in this one. We've got a 218.5 total, kind of middle of the pack for today. Starting off with the road team, which is Cleveland. There wasn't a ton here that I really loved, and the projections didn't really reflect anything, especially when there's so much everywhere else. There's so much value. There's a lot going on high-low. Garland was an option that I was somewhat interested in before we got all this news and all this value that opened up. Tristan Thompson was another one that kind of got lost in a shuffle with me. You would think they need Thompson for this matchup against Detroit with Andre Drummond on the other side. Thompson's minutes have been a little weird lately. Earlier this year, we were projecting him for 33, 34 minutes a game, but we really can't because of how he's played and how his coaches played him. But again, Larry Nance has been playing really well, but Tristan Thompson is probably going to be needed with Drummond. And the ownership on Thompson, forget about it. Between Podol, between Hardin Stein, and then Karl-Anthony Towns and Drummond, like, nobody's playing Tristan Thompson today. But again, it comes with risk. It's not a slam dunk. It comes with risk. The price is really low, though, on both sites. Colin Sexton, again, he's just priced at a point where it's hard to really get him in. The usage has been fine. The minutes have been there. He's not a huge peripheral guy, but being that he plays so many minutes and he is one of the main scoring options, he's going to fall into some assists, fall into some rebounds. But again, we have a lot of guys that are more expensive than him that look really good, and a lot of guys that are way cheaper than him look really good. Kevin Love, price is an issue to me on DraftKings. 7.9 is just risky. He's got the ceiling to hit it in a close game. But the price is just not all that enticing. Just in general, like, this game is going to be very low on. Kevin Porter Jr. is back. He's probable to return. I don't know how many minutes he's actually going to play. We have him for around 19 now. But that could affect Larry Nance's minutes. Larry Nance has been playing extremely well. He's playing more backup center, so maybe not. Maybe it's more on Osman. Maybe they scale back Kevin Love a little bit. So there are some question marks here. It's not like, anytime a team gets a body in that was in the rotation, things get a little bit more complex in some way. But Thompson would be my favorite if I had to pick a favorite. And that's all. Like I said, it's risky because of how he's been playing lately. Next game we got to talk about Detroit. Reggie Jackson. If we didn't have the Austin Rivers down low and everybody else that we're gonna have, DeJounte Murray and all these players, Reggie Jackson was grading out like a if this was an uglier slate, uglier as in like price wise, Reggie Jackson would have actually been a pretty interesting tournament play, especially on DraftKings. He's played really well. I don't think we could rely on his efficiency. He's never been this efficient. He's playing such little minutes and just doing such major dirties. But it is a really good matchup against Cleveland. So, at the same time, you kind of stick with the hot hand kind of thing. He's had a lot of time off, so he seems energized and ready to roll. So I wouldn't have minded him. Not that I mind him today. I just probably won't get there because even at a 5.8 value on DraftKings, as far as projected value, we have so many guys that are above him at this point. Well, You got to balance out the raw points, is all I'm saying. But definitely in play. Derrick Rose, his price, listen, he's been phenomenal. But as Reggie Jackson gets more, I don't know if the plan was ever to play Rose 34 minutes a game or whatever the case may be. We got him for 33, which is high for him. Usage has been awesome. He's been awesome. I'm not worried about the match. It's a phenomenal matchup against Cleveland. Just the price. That's an expensive price to pay, making him more of a tournament thing. Andre Drummond is also in a really good spot. He's probably my favorite play from the team. He's probably going to be the one I get the most of by the time it's all said and done. 9,600 on DraftKings, 10.5 on FanDuel. Massive upside. Centers have just destroyed Cleveland. Destroyed them. So I do like Drummond. Drummond did well against Brooklyn. He was in the core that day. They went to overtime. He didn't score as many points in overtime as you'd hoped. He finished with like 51, which was fine at his price. But I mean, he was pretty much there at overtime. So it was a little disappointing. But his ownership's going to be lower now that Paulie and Hardin Stein. That's really what it did, was lower the ownership. I think a lot of people were going to try to play like Luka with, Cat and some of these guys. But now it depends on what value plays you like are going to determine what you have room for in some ways. I mean, you can find ways to make it work, but you get what I'm saying. Bruce Brown, we have around 25 minutes. There's not really a ton popping out here. I think these guys are all going to be very low owned. Reggie Jackson, we only have at 20. He played 23 in the last game. Maybe he plays a little bit more. And even that is going to affect the minutes spread around. Damboya, Morris, they're a little more healthy. Tony Snell's been out for a couple games. He may be back. We'll have to check his status. So there's just not a ton. It's really Drummond. I don't mind Reggie for value. I don't mind Rose for a tournament play, but Drummond is the main one here for me today. Next up, where we at? Shit. Oh, here we are. Orlando at Miami. We have a 209 total, down from 211. Miami opened up -4.5. They're up to -6. Big schedule mismatch here, for sure. I know that. The Orlando Magic on the back end of a back-to-back, also completing a stretch of 4 games in 6 nights. Meanwhile, Miami, while they do play tomorrow, they've been off for 2 days now. There is a little bit of somewhat of a balance to a degree because there could be, because Miami's got a lot of injury news that we're waiting for. But we'll start with the Magic side of the ball. Again, this is a really tough part in the schedule for them. Back end of a back-to-back, 4 and 6. Fournier's price is really attractive on FanDuel. He's kind of in a median zone where you may not need him because you're going to have the Rockets value over there. Eric Gordon, again, it's probably going to be 100% over there. So you could probably reach better players at shooting guard, which between DeRozan and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Lavine, like there are options there. On DraftKings, he just seems a little too expensive. Markelle Fultz has not played well. He's got upside, but he's kind of failed to show us that on a consistent level. And now Michael Carter-Williams is back. I think I'd rather play Michael Carter-Williams as a potential pivot. He's not going to get a ton of minutes, but he's been a relatively high producer from a fantasy aspect. I think in his last game, he went for 30 DraftKings points in limited minutes. The game blew out, so he might have played a little bit more, but I forget exactly what he played. Aaron Gordon, I don't mind at 5,900. Again, I'm just a little nervous about the situation. First of all, it's the lowest total on the board, and it's dropping. I'm just a little nervous about the fact of the stretch they're in. Vooch is somebody I genuinely like because I think he represents somewhat of a matchup issue for Miami. They're going to play Bam, and that's going to reduce Vooch. I'm not saying that Vooch is going to crush him on the boards, but Vooch is a very good perimeter player. He likes to play around there, and Bam not so much. More of a traditional type center. So I do think there's some upside in Vooch. Vooch and Gordon are really the main two. And like I said, I don't mind Michael Carter-Williams for value. It's just we have a lot of other value, but he makes for an interesting pivot at low ownership if that's your thing. Going over to the Miami side, these guys are a little more rested. We are waiting for a lot of news here. Goran Dragic, Kendrick Nunn, Jimmy Butler, all questionable. Bam Adebayo is probable. If everybody's healthy, it's mainly Butler for me. I don't mind Bam, but we have a lot of centers. I think on FanDuel, Bam makes a little more sense at the power forward eligibility because of the upside he's got. And we're not worried about Vooch as far as down low goes. I think Bam still, can get his boards and score his points. But maybe we'll like Bam a little bit more if all those guys are out because they'll have to use Bam more. Then again, if all those guys are out, they may not have a guy that can get him the ball down low. But in the meantime, if everybody's in, it's really just buckets. If people are out, now it gets interesting. So If Dragic and Nunn are out, I'll like Tyler Hero again. On FanDuel, especially at 43. On DraftKings at 5, I'll still take it. He gets extra points for threes, and he played like 40 minutes that last game and took a ton of shots. I know Butler ended up getting hurt in that game and didn't play all the way, but I would be interested in him if the guards were out. If Butler was in and those guys were out, I would like Butler once again. Price is, 8K on DraftKings, 86 on FanDuel. I'd be more than willing with the usage, even in this type of matchup. What's interesting, though, is if Butler misses, because Dion Waiters got like 18 minutes and was super aggressive in that situation. And Dion Waiters is a value at a position that's small for it. A position he would make for a very interesting pivot off of some of the guys like Austin Rivers and whoever else. So he's on the shit list on the team. He got in trouble a bunch of times, ate a bunch of weed gummies, got in trouble for that. But he clearly is trying to show he can play in the league when he gets his few opportunities. So if Butler does miss, we may need more than just Butler missing, though. We may need all three of those guys to miss. But if that's the case, I'd be willing to take a good chunk of Dion Waiters. At 3,800 on FanDuel, 35 on DraftKings, I'd be fine with that. Let's go over to the next game. A situation we got to come back to. We just need the news. Hopefully we get that. If not in this first hour, hopefully we get it in the second hour. That game is at 7:30 p.m. So interestingly enough, Cleveland and Detroit for you DraftKings players. Those are the only. That's the only game that starts at 7. Let's go on to the Spurs and the Bulls. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we have a 213.5 total, down from 217.5. So at this point, it's not that much higher than only 4.5 points higher than the Orlando game. LaMarcus Aldridge is out. The Bulls went from 2-point underdogs at home to 1.5-point favorites. We'll start off with the road team, which is the Spurs, of course. Let's start off with the schedule, because the Spurs are actually in a really tough spot. They're on the back end of a back-to-back. They're on a 4-6. They had to travel from San Antonio to Chicago last night. The Bulls are also on a 4-6, but they did at least have a day off. So I think it's a little more even. I just worry that the game may be a little ugly, maybe less efficient, but maybe these guys are a little like DeMar DeRozan, I know, was he skipped his pregame ritual yesterday's game, because he needed to get his mind right after hearing the Kobe news. Maybe he plays inspired. Jacob Poeltl figures to be pretty popular, and for good reason. He's really cheap, and in limited minutes, this dude has been smashing. I'm going to read off some of his game logs recently. 13 minutes against Toronto, went for 23. 10 minutes against Phoenix, went for 7. That was disappointing, and that is an issue with him, is the Spurs, even without LMA, can find ways to go small, especially against Chicago, because Chicago doesn't have very many centers themselves. They got like Luke Cornett and Felicio, who's like 6'9" and just chubby. New Orleans, 13 minutes, 22 DraftKings points. Phoenix, 16 minutes, 23 DraftKings points. So he's had some duds in between. Miami, 12 minutes, 6. But Atlanta was the last time he saw, like, I don't even want to say significant. He got 20 minutes, went for 23. At 3,200 and 4K. See, 4K on FanDuel, maybe that's not enough. But on DraftKings, that would be pretty good for the price you're paying. We only have him projected for about 25 minutes. And this is just what he's coming to. This is a spot that normally Bulls have centers have smashed the Bulls, but they've been a little better this year in terms of preventing that. I don't know how exactly, but they've been a little bit better at it, despite the fact that all their centers are out. Maybe it's just Wendell Carter. Maybe he's the reason. I don't know. But, yeah, Poeltl makes for a strong value play today. One of the issues, of course, is center is a position where you do want to spend some money. There's Karl Anthony Towns, Drummond, Gobert. There's a few good ones. DeJounte Murray, I do like a lot at guard. We had him at 25 minutes because that's really all he's been playing at the most. But with the Aldridge absence, I do think when he's on the court, his usage will be a little higher, and I think he's more likely to play a little bit more minutes. Maybe they still don't keep him. But if there was ever an opportunity for him to play bigger minutes, I think it'd be now. Just needing another scorer, Aldridge is one of their scorers. So I do like Murray a lot. He's somebody I'll have a lot of exposure to. Him and Poeltl are my two favorites here. DeRozan, a close third. Being that he's small forward eligible, I had mentioned there's not a ton of money places to spend your money there. Efficiency is going to be a big deal, but you would imagine that if this game is close, which it should be, that DeRozan would play a lot of minutes if they're really trying to win. And the usage for him is massive. He's averaged like 1.22 fantasy points per minute with LaMarcus Aldridge off the court. So I do think he makes for one of the stronger options today. Rudy Gay, I think if like he's been on this stretch and he's been in Pop's doghouse. Had this been like a few months ago, I think everybody would have projected Rudy Gay for more minutes in the situation. But I think, like myself, everybody else is kind of hesitant because he's kind of been in the doghouse, and there's other ways they can go. But I do think there's an avenue for Rudy Gay to play more. He could be one of those, like, to get a different build, use him as a value play, because it is a situation where we have an injury here. We have Marcus Aldridge is out with a sprained thumb, so there's minutes that have to be filled. Rudy Gay can play the 4, and they have Poto to play the 5. So maybe we're not aggressive enough on Rudy Gay's projection. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think of that shit in the chat. Curious to hear what Paulie's thoughts are, too. I'll try to make a note to ask him about it. If I don't remember, remind me. Unless you don't give a damn, and whatever. But Rudy Gay, kind of interesting. It's, he's been in the doghouse, but with LaMarcus Aldridge out, it could lead to more playing time for him, no doubt. And I don't think too many people are talking about him. I think we know about Podol. I think Murray's ownership will also maybe go up a little bit. Rivers and Gordon and all these other guys. What about Gay? Derek White's been playing extremely well. He's been playing way above his head. Unless he's just all of a sudden this great baller. He's been playing way above his head, playing about 28 minutes and just doing dirties over the last 2. Hard to project him for another 28 because it's inconsistent. Let's see. But again, it could happen, especially now with Aldridge out. They're going to need to shift things around and see what pops. But yeah, I think Podol, Murray, DeRozan, and I'm interested in Rudy Gay to a degree. I just want to do some more digging, but I mean, we'll see what the starting lineup looks like. Trey Lyles also someone who could end up playing a lot. We've got him getting a few extra minutes instead of Gay, so weird, I know, but I guess that's what Pop does. What Pop does is you don't play Murray a ton either, but we think Murray's the best player in the world, so it is what it is. When you go to the other side of the Chicago side, Thaddeus Young he's been chalk every day since Lauri Markkanen's gone out, but I don't think it's going to be the case today because he's at power forward and so is Hardin Stein, so on both sides. So I think depending on who starts, his matchup may have gotten better, at least in terms of like with LMA. I was a little worried about the foul trouble, being that LMA can be sometimes aggressive offensively, but now I'm not so worried about it. Well, if Rudy Gay starts, it could be a little bit of a matchup where Young is kind of pushed to the side. And I'm actually okay with not needing him anymore because he's not a huge usage guy, not a huge scorer, and Lavine has just been doing everything, and it seems hard for anyone else to really eat. Lavine, if you want to reach him, I think he'll be low-owned again. He's coming off of the best game of his fantasy career, I think. 72 DraftKings points. Is that the most he's ever done? It was something like that. But yeah, man, I mean, the price is just up. But if you want to go for it in tournaments, I'm okay with it. Chris Dunn's been playing a little better, playing some minutes. But again, the price is up a little bit. These guys all kind of fall into no man's land. That's just the situation. But Lavine, I would say, is definitely an option. And Thaddeus Young, if you want to be different at this point, and playing him at chalk every day, you could be different and play him today. I don't know how much of him. I mean, I'll have some of them. He still projects for 5.9x with 32 minutes, so I'll have some. But I will probably have a lot more Hardin Stein. Stein? All right, let's see. Hold on, this popped into the chat real quick. It's funny. Charles Walker says, I won't forgive myself if I pay that much for Eric Gordon on DraftKings. We'll talk because I've been battling myself with Eric Gordon. We're gonna bring Paulie on in the second hour. So for this first hour, obviously we're gonna do what we do here, but for the second hour, we are gonna bring Paulie on. We'll go over some Q&A, optimal builds, get his top plays on the slate and all that stuff. But he actually, spoiler alert, he likes Gordon a lot today, and so we'll get into that. Like, I respect what Paulie says, so I'm going to look. And Gordon right now, as of right now, I was looking at around 15%, and I had to manually adjust his projection because obviously this year he has not been in a situation like this. So his Like you had to project him for like 100 minutes to get him to be relevant as 6'9" on DraftKings. Again, on FanDuel, it's a different story. He's 4'4". So if you play both sites, you have that going for you. You have that advantage. On the other hand, Gordon will be a lot lower owned on DraftKings. So there's two sides to that story. After hearing Paulie's thoughts on it, I tried to think of it a little more open-mindedly because I felt the same way at first about 6'9", but it is a totally different role than we've seen this year. At least he's been playing better lately, and it really comes down to the position. If you look at forget about shooting guard. If you look at small forward, if your value is coming from point guard, center, power forward, then where are you driving to spend up on? You can afford to pay for an expensive shooting guard or point guard because Rivers is multi-position eligibility. You have Clemens, you have a bunch of guys you can roll with. But then where are you spending the money in the mid tier? It's like DeRozan, maybe Butler if he's there. But then who's third on that list? Probably Gordon. Unless you just want to punt. In that case, you're not going to need one of those value plays. You're going to have to pivot off one of those guys. So we'll talk about it, but I don't disagree, Charles. I know what you mean, bro. AJ Davidson, could we name some of the players that might be inspired to play for Kobe as commemoration? You know, that's a tough one, man, because we don't always know who's got the relationship with who. DeRozan was obviously impacted, and a lot of the stud players, it's going to be everybody. Everybody handles this kind of stuff different, right? Like there's some people who don't know Kobe Bryant personally, and they're broken. They're like broken up about this. And I'm not placing judgment on them because he was very influential, and depending on what people needed in their personal lives, they might needed, he did something for them. Maybe for me, it was really about sports, and it was about, I was a military brat. I knew he was a military brat. When you're growing up, moving around, you start to worry about, am I ever going to get recruited? How are they going to know where to find me? I keep moving because of the Army. My father was in the Army. And so I looked at guys like Shaq and Kobe that were military brats also and kind of experienced some of that stuff. And so it really depends on how you used him, right? It's the same thing with the players. Not every player in the NBA knew him personally, but a lot of them on different levels were affected. And not just that, but people handle grief differently. Some people have been through some real messed up stuff. So to hear that a person they didn't personally know passed, they're going to be sad for them. They're going to be sad for the situation. They're going to really, really feel bad for the family, especially because if they've gone through something like that themselves, they know what this feels like. But they're not going to sit there and dramatize the situation and make it seem like they're the victim. They're going to, if anything, be grateful that theirs and their owns are still healthy at the moment. So again, everything is perspective. And you really got to get into the psyche of these players, understand how they grew up, everything. Some of the players are a little more vocal, like James Harden, for instance. If James Harden were to play, I believe he would have taken 100 shots today. He's unlikely to play, to be clear. But if James Harden were to play, and it's not out of the question, unlikely don't mean shit. You got to hear the source. Like some ESPN guy says from a Houston source, he'd be surprised if Harden played. That was the report, or the tweet. So, good. It's a good question, and it's something to keep an eye on, especially for the narrative people. But it's really hard to truly know. Like, there's some obvious ones we can address, but there could be guys that you have no idea had a connection or we're going to be inspired like this and are. On the other hand, I think everybody's going to be somewhat inspired. I mean, these guys are all playing in a league. They're all competing. Their dream is to be the best, and he was that. So that's all I'll say about that. Anyway, real quick, guys, if you could hit that like button, the likes go a long way. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, make sure you follow us. Don't forget YouTube or subscribe also. Make sure you don't miss anything out. Subscribe, hit the notifications bell, all that good stuff. But the likes go a long way, allow us to continue to do the free content, and we enjoy doing it. So hook us up, smash that like button. Let's go. Let's go on to Sacramento Kings and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I'm going to preface this by saying that in terms of betting on sports, I like to follow the schedules. That's my thing. And I do like Minnesota today. It's not like the biggest mismatch. I'm sorry, I do like Sacramento today to cover the 3 points. I think I like to bet as safe as possible. So I think I bought it up to like 4, like minus 124. But just full disclosure, in case there's a little bit of bias. Now, as far as the projections, there's no bias in the projections. Projections, I just, it is what it is. I'm looking at what they're doing and what they've done, and these are conclusions. But full disclosure, as far as sides go, I like Minnesota. I'm sorry, I keep saying Minnesota. I like the Kings to cover. 225.5 total. We've got Minnesota as 3-point home favorites. Let's see what we got here. As far as schedule goes, the Kings have had 2 days off. They do not play tomorrow. Minnesota's had 1 day off, but they are still in a 4-6 stretch. One of the reasons I do like Sacramento, almost did it again. I started, you know why I'm messing up? Because I was supposed to click Sacramento because they're the road team, and I clicked Minnesota, so I keep getting this backwards. So we're going to start with Sacramento. So this is interesting with about this game. So I like De'Aaron Fox a lot today. I'm going to have a lot of him. My projections put him on me, everything, right? Especially because my projections have Hardin Stein as a better value play than some of the others, and Podol as well. With that said, last time Sacramento played, they got destroyed. I think it was by the Bulls. They got beat up. But they decided to move Buddy Hield to the bench. Now, we didn't get a good sample because of the blowout. Fox only played, I think, like 25 minutes, and Hield only played like 23. But what I will say, I'm just going to pull it up so I don't give you guys any erroneous information. So 25 minutes for Fox. Fox went for 40 DraftKings points against the Bulls in 25 minutes. He had a 40.8% usage rate. And again, like, I'm sure he played with Fox at some times, but it wasn't often because he only played 25, Hield played 23, and Hield came off the bench. So I do think there was some sort of impact, even if it's just getting him in that rhythm. Meanwhile, Buddy Hield, who only played 23 minutes because of the blowout, went for 36 DraftKings points in those 23 minutes, and he had a 30% usage rate, which is higher than he's had most of the time in most games. So I think they're both kind of interesting. I know Bogdanovich is still an option. He started. He didn't do very well. It was weird. Like, it didn't look like they were willing to play him big. Like, the starting was, it almost seemed like he was starting more. Like, we don't know if Buddy Hield was moved to the bench as a punishment to send a message, or if it was just like, yo, we need the second unit to pop, and Bogdanovich ain't getting it done. So, I mean, it does make sense in this day and age, especially if you don't have any mega stars on your team, to, like, you know, take your guys and split them. We see the Rockets do it all the time. Harden and Westbrook. Not saying that these guys are Harden and Westbrook, but Harden and Westbrook light, I guess, right? Maybe. So I'm okay with Bogdanovich. On FanDuel, Bogdanovich is really cheap. Like, very, very tempting. On DraftKings, he's okay. We have some room. I don't even think I gave him a hard 30 minutes. I think he's at like 29.5 or 29, something like that. Just rounds up to 30 on the sheet here. Again, these projections are available for those of you who want access at WiseTake.com. It doesn't look like this. They're in a table format. You just download them. You can upload them into the optimizer of your choice, whatever you use. They are available at WiseTake.com with an NBA DFS Day Pass or a WiseTake subscription, whatever. These are the projections I use. These are my projections that I make. So do the dirty, drop sevens with me. But anyway, so Bogdanovich, we can get more aggressive if we liked it. I'm just kind of digging the Hield Fox situation. But again, I would rather Fox. Like, I want Hield to come off the bench. I like Fox regardless. I think Fox is going to be pretty popular on FanDuel, but I like Fox regardless. On both sites, I'll play him a lot. But it's just a matter of, do I want to sneak Hield in there also? And because the usage, it was pretty interesting. And I think Hield, especially if Hield comes off the bench, I think his ownership is once again going to be very low. It's going to be low regardless, but it will definitely be even lower if he's coming off the bench. So Bielitsa, obviously interesting. Dedmon, I'm not crazy into just because of the other values that we have. Dedmon also gets into foul trouble a lot. And he's a cat down there. Harrison Barnes, another value option on FanDuel that I'm okay with. But it's really Bogdanovich. It's De'Aaron Fox number one. And then Bogdan and Hield, I like both. But again, Hield is more of a tournament thing. If he's coming off the bench, just thinking he's going to pick up on some usage. But we'll see what they do against Minnesota today. Next up, we've got the other side, Minnesota. I don't know why. I bet against them, and yet I keep on telling everybody to bet them by accident. Covington's okay. It really is Cat for me. That's mainly it. I mean, is there any injury news? I forgot to check this shit, dude. Did we get anything crazy out of there? I know Paulie was telling me some of his projections were the Lakers-Clippers game had just been postponed on Tuesday. So tomorrow, the Lakers and Clippers are supposed to play. They postponed the game. Kevin Porter Jr. be on a minutes limit. Shabazz Napier probable. Okay, Shabazz Napier is sick, but he is probable. All right, no, I didn't see anything else on. All right, no, I didn't see anything else on these guys. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, real quick, shout out to Shabazz Napier, man. Of course, the one day I didn't play a lot of him. I've been playing a lot of him when he's like 5K. The one day I didn't play a lot of him. I still had some, but I didn't have a lot. He triple doubled. How the hell does this guy get Adams? That was against OKC. Adams was there. Gilgeous-Alexander, who's a really good rebounding guard. Shabazz Napier got 10 rebounds somehow. Shout out to Shabazz. 6,200 on DraftKings, though I'm not terribly interested. 5-3 on FanDuel, I think is better. Covington, similar situation. I don't mind him on either site. I don't necessarily love him either, but makes for a loaned option at the position. It's just hard because any one of these guys are basically, you're comparing to Hardin Stein at min price, at least to a degree. Culver's been a little inconsistent. Okogie's been he is a value play. It's just Cat. Wrong. I don't mind Wiggins. Wiggins is another one of them guys. If you want to spend the money, he's just really inconsistent. It's hard to predict when he's going to be efficient. Even when Cat's off the court, we see him struggle with that sometimes. So Cat is the main one for me. And I do think that before we had the Capella news, everybody was going to punt a lot of the guard positions, and it was going to mean that people were going to spend on these big centers. Now with Podol opening up and Hardin Stein opening up, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that, not saying these guys won't be popular, it's a 6-game slate, so everybody's going to have some ownership, but their ownership should drop between Drummond, Cat, all these, because they still have to, now they, instead of able to play maybe 2 of them, one at the utility, they're now going to have to cut that down to 1 if they're playing Podol or Hardin Stein at that position or whatever. So I do like Cat. Man. Luka now questionable. I thought Luka was already questionable. I think they deemed him probable, but I'll double check just to see if I see anything on our feed. But Luka was already technically he was probable. So was he downgraded to questionable? Maybe that's what happened. I don't see it. I still see probable as far as like the actual updates go. But I'll let you guys know if I see anything. If you have a source, just pop it into that chat. We will check it out, no doubt. All right, let's see. What do we got next? We've got Dallas and OKC. Dallas and OKC. Hit that like button, guys. Let's do it. Hit the like button. Let's do it. All right, Dallas, OKC, 226.5 total. It's the highest one on the board. Dallas is a 1-point road favorite. Dallas has had 1 day off. This is the front end of a back-to-back for them. Oklahoma City has had 1 day off, but they are still completing a 4-6 stretch. So it's Luka, right? Like that's he's always your first and a lot of times last stop when you come to this team. Willie Cauley-Stein is there. I'm assuming he's gonna suit up. They brought him to replace Powell. I'm not sure how many minutes he's going to play, right? Like, they have a need for a big guy. They're going up against Adams. Adams may be limited again. He only played like 23 minutes in their last game. He's dealing with an ankle injury. So we'll see. I mean, Hardaway Jr., you can take a shot on if you just kind of fall on him. I'm okay with it. Seth Curry, again, like, guard is just a position where you think if you need value, you just got so many other places to go. But I don't mind him. But really, I mean, Porzingis, if he was going to play, 34, 35 minutes, he'd be an awesome play today. But right now, he hasn't played more than 27. So I think even at 31, it's pretty aggressive, and he's still not projecting very well. So it's really Luka. That's it for me, Luka. Maybe I get some shares of Hardaway, but Luka is that's where, it's easy for me to talk about Dallas today. That easy. He's going to be popular. People are going to have all this value. They need somebody to spend it on. And Luka's price on DraftKings have come down a little bit to 11.9. On FanDuel, he's 10.9, still within reach. It's going to be popular. Got the highest ceiling on the slate. Dirties. Oklahoma City, we talked about Adams. On FanDuel, kind of interesting. Could get lost in a shuffle. We'll see as far as any kind of limitation on minutes. He had an ankle injury, but he didn't miss that much time. So it's not like he's not in game shape or anything like that. He played 23 minutes, so I should probably lower. Yeah, I'm going to lower him to around 25 or so. Let's do that. OKC. Oh, I had him at 26 anyway, but I'm going to lower him to 25. Bang. I just don't think he's going to play all that much. He played 23 minutes last game. We're also waiting for the status, I think, on like Nerlens Noel, too. He had face surgery, man. Gallinari popped his ass. Dude had some face surgery. Yeah. Crazy. So we'll see. If Noel was out, Muscala did play 25 minutes, and he played well against Minnesota, but Gallinari was also out that game. I expect Galla to be back, and again, that was with Noel out and Adams limited on minutes. Adams only playing like 23. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I do like. I think that he could be an interesting pivot off some of those other guys, like like Andrew Wiggins, who people may play. Guards have done well against Dallas. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has played a ton of minutes. He's got to be leading the team in minutes. So I'm cool with it. And I'm okay with Chris Paul, but the price has gotten up. Gallinari, same thing. On FanDuel, I actually like Gallinari a lot more. On DraftKings, the price has kind of gotten up. So it's really Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for me. I don't love a ton. It's the highest total game. You would think I'd like more, but without any injuries, some of these guys' pricing is kind of put us in a weird position. So it's mainly Shai for me here today. Maybe we can get more. Like if I can get more Chris Paul just because I had enough money and I could, I'm not against it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know. All right, we're gonna go on to Houston. Last game, late night hammer, all by itself at 9 o'clock, and we're gonna get that news that James Harden will play, and that's gonna be. I'm gonna be so pissed. Hopefully he doesn't play. But anyway, let's go to Houston. As you can see, we got Hardin Stein for around 25 minutes. And he projects to smash on both sides. 3,700 on FanDuel, and he's power forward eligible, he's power forward, which is clutch. Because you could still play those other centers. Hardin Stein, here's the way I look at it. When I'm considering Hardin Stein, forget about the fact that he projects to be the best play on the team in terms of value. But also consider the fact that he's got, in my opinion anyway, of these value players, I'm not talking about, really, I guess I am. Of all the value players that we're considering, and keep in mind that players like Reggie Jackson's on a minute limit, all this kind of shit, man. I don't know why I'm even talking about Reggie in this situation. About to talk about ceilings. But Hardin Stein has the highest ceiling, in my opinion. He's got a low floor, there's no doubt. There is a scenario where he doesn't play the minutes that, Well, I guess he has to play. I guess the only scenario is foul trouble against Gobert. Gobert's a big motherfucker, but Hardenstein has to play with Capella out. That's the bottom line. Tyson Chandler's not a guy they're willing to play 35 minutes, so Hardenstein's going to get a lot. He's got the highest ceiling. So let's see. Against Denver, he played 18 minutes, went for 35. Against New Orleans, he played 34 minutes, went for 39. Against Brooklyn, played 24, went for 27. He had a game against Minnesota that resulted in a blowout. He got 26 minutes, went for 52.75 DraftKings points. So he's got, in my opinion, he's my favorite of all the value plays because even though the floor, you could argue, if he gets into foul trouble, whatever, I think he's got the highest ceiling of the guy. I mean, 3K and 3 sale. So I do like Hardenstein quite a bit. Matter of fact, I'm going to make some updates to this tizzy, I think, in a second. Yeah, boy. Yeah, we got some room to make some adjustments here. Me tinks. Nah, not a ton. There's not a ton I would really change looking at this here. So let's get into the rest of the guys. Eric Gordon. On FanDuel, like I said, to me, him and Hardenstein, I'm just playing them. Boom. Just not even thinking about it. Because Gordon's 4'4". DraftKings, you have a decision to make. He's 6'9". Again, I'm gonna let Paulie kind of explain to you why he likes him, but I'm sure it has to do with the fact that Gordon's usage without those guys should be massive. We should expect Gordon to take a ton of shots, expect him to be a little more active in ball distribution as well. Pick up some time actually running the offense, a lot of time. The downside of paying 6'9" for Eric Gordon, the games in Utah, it's a 4-6 for him. He's been playing in these games. He's been playing for a little bit now, but he is technically coming back from some sort of injury. If you remember, he missed a good amount of time. But Against Minnesota the other day, he did go for 40 DraftKings points, which at 6'9", that's really your target. So it's possible, and that was with the Harden Westbrook situation. I think they both played that game. Harden got hurt in that game, I think, actually, against Minnesota. He came back at some point, but I think he did get hurt. That was when he picked up the injury, because he didn't play against Denver the second night on Sunday, yesterday, whatever. So Gordon's interesting. On DraftKings, his ownership, I would imagine, is going to be lower. On FanDuel, he'll be like 100% owned. But on DraftKings, I do think you'll get him at lower ownership. So it's kind of interesting. 6'9" for Eric Gordon is nothing that I had any intention of wanting to do at any point. But at the same time, it's kind of intriguing. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. But we'll talk to Paulie and have him help us make a determination on that one, because I'm kind of torn on it. And again, I would be way against it, and if I had a ton of people to put over him. But like I said, Butler may not even play. You take away Butler, you take away DeRozan. I don't love that position much, and I like the value at power forward. I like the value at center a little bit more than I like the dirt value. A little bit more than I like Austin Rivers, for instance. And the only reason is because there's a lot of point guard options. DeJounte Murray for 4,500. In a situation with LMA out, you've got De'Aaron Fox, you've got Luka Doncic. So to me, there's more places for my money at point guard. That's why I'm not as interested. But if you weren't into Hardin Stein, if you weren't into Podol, or even if you're into Hardin Stein, you're just not into Podol, that's fine too. Then you're looking at Rivers. I would think would handle a lot of point guard today. Makes for a solid value option. PJ Tucker, you could roll the dice with. We have him projected for 38, which may be conservative. They may play him more than that. He just doesn't do a ton. And I don't think it's good for him that Harden and these guys are out, because who's going to throw him the damn ball when he's standing in the corner like a dumbass? Chris Clemens is a very high upside value play, but he's going to be limited to a degree because of the cap on his potential minutes. So, again, I like Hardin Stein more than any of these dudes. So that's the decision I've made. And because of that, then it comes down to Podol versus these guys. I have a tendency I do like Podol. So I don't know how much of the value of the other Rocket value guys I get to, in all honesty. The other scenario, of course, if you want to punt small forward, you have Danuel House, who you can punt small forward with. I would expect him to be a little bit more aggressive. I would expect his minutes to be a little more solidified. Ben McLemore is an option on FanDuel. I'm not paying 5.8 for this dude. I'm sorry. He could smash today all day. But I'm not doing that. There's a question. Would you rather pay 5.8 for McLemore or 6.9 for Gordon? You tell me in the chat now. I'm curious. You guys tell me. But yeah, being what it is, I mean, Hardin Stein would be my favorite. Paulie likes Gordon. I'll let him talk to you guys about him a little bit. Then Austin Rivers from me. Then Clemens. Then Danuel House. That would be how I'd rank it for me today. The Utah side, Clarkson, it's okay. Donovan Mitchell, it's okay. I mean, the usage and all that is fine. It's just the minutes. It's the price at 79 on DraftKings. 76 on FanDuel really isn't that bad, though. Even Bogdanovich, I don't mind. Again, at a position that's kind of weak. But Gobert is the main one. Gobert should fucking smash. We've got a lot of other centers, so I don't think Gobert is going to be popular. No Capella. You got Hardin Stein, but Gobert is he's big as hell. Gobert is huge. Let me look this shit up. Gobert is 7'1". 7'1". It's not showing me a weight. Hardenstein's 7 foot. That's why I like Hardenstein so much, because I think they'll need him. But I do expect Rudy Gobert. If anybody's going to do dirty from Utah, it's got to be Gobert. And I know this is a big spread. There's a good chance the Rockets get blown out. I will say this, though. Utah has been playing their starters in blowouts as long as they're at home. I guess something they do for the home fans. So ownership's going to be low. Massive upside. I'm cool with Gobert all day. But, yeah, Hardenstein from the Rockets side will be where I lie. Get most of my exposure to it. And not terribly interested in the rest of all this. Chris Paul is out? Somebody just tell me Chris Paul is out? Yep, Chris Paul. Oh, man. Yep, here it comes. Chris Paul out personal, it says. So that's got to be a Kobe thing. Right? I mean, I don't know that. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but it's looking like it. Yeah, Chris Paul is out. Let's take a look. Let's go back to them real quick. We got a little bit of time before we bring Paulie on. Go back to that situation. Damn it, did it again. I'm clicking the wrong team all the time. All right. So yeah, I talked about liking Shea. I'm gonna like him even more now. I think Schroeder becomes a pretty strong option. You would expect Schroeder to kind of step right into Chris Paul's role at this point. Yeah, I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Schroeder should play a ton. And this is probably pretty good for Luka as well. Not that Chris Paul is the same defender he used to be, but Chris Paul is at least a high basketball IQ type player. Not that Shai isn't or Schroeder. I'm just saying Chris Paul is. So it never hurts when you lose a guy like, on the other side of that. But yeah, Chris Paul is out. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna have to elevate Shai. Shai Gilgeous may not leave this game. And Schroeder's got to be playing. Not to mention the usage. I'm gonna look that shit up while I got you guys here. Let's see. Oklahoma City Thunder. No Chris Paul. Man, Roberson's been out forever, man. Just take a look. So Chris Paul off the court. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at about 25%. As far as usage goes, 1.01. Not as high as you would think on a fantasy point per minute perspective, but that could be just his. That seems kind of low for the usage at the same time. Dennis Schroeder, 28.3, 1.06. Also seems very low for the usage. Danilo Gallinari, 1.04. So I forgot about Danilo. As far as usage goes, he should also see an increase, making him a pretty strong play, I think, on FanDuel. I mean, DraftKings at 7K is fine, but on FanDuel, at 6.2, I think that makes him really strong. So I'll update these when we're in the transition. For those of you who are subscribed at WiseTake.com, we'll make sure we get that. Yeah, dude, Crazy Cooks. I don't mind Gallo over Schroeder. I'm fine. I mean, honestly, being in the situation, like, it's setting up for a pretty good game stack in general. Between Luka on the other side, and then you can realistically, I'm not against playing all three of those guys because of the situation, because of the impact, especially if Adams remains limited. I'm not opposed to playing all three of those guys. It's the highest total game on the board. If you could, it was funny because we were talking about, when I talked about the OKC side, I said it's the highest total on the board, but I can't seem to find anybody I like from OKC. And this helps. Like, this does help. These prices are elevated, but Chris Paul has been playing really well. He's a high usage player, been running the offense, taking shots, and he's out. And all these guys are going to now contribute to grab some. So I think it's interesting. And some of these guys happen to be at a position that I was looking like, now I'm curious to hear Paulie's thoughts. Like, do you still want to play Gordon at 6'9" over Gallo at 7K? Right? Because Gordon is small forward eligible, I believe, on DraftKings. Am I wrong? Either way, the OKC side definitely just got a lot more interesting. So, I'm going to get ready to, we're going to take a little break. Don't go nowhere. I'm just going to put on a little background music. Hopefully the music plays. I can't figure out how to make it play when it don't play. Either it plays or it don't play. It is what it, I don't know. But I'm going to try to play the music. We'll be back. We're just going to set up. I'm going to get Paulie on the horn here. Get him on the call. We'll bring him on and we'll get his thoughts, take some Q&A at that point. Wait for some injury news. The most important part of this last hour is get the injury news. We try to do some Q&A when there's time. We try to go over some optimal plays, things like that. But we'll see. In the meantime, I'm going to go update these projections in a second here and set up for Paulie. So again, don't go nowhere. We will be right back.
What we do here is go back.
What up, nation? We are back once again. This time joined by the GOAT, the true OG, Paulie D. You can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 Ds. I know Paulie had to go make some last minute changes to his cheat sheet because of the Chris Paul news. Paulie, what's happening?
What's up? What's good?
What's Gucci? So the nation has heard me talk for the last hour or so. I figured I'd take this opportunity to pick your brain. You know, I want to pick your brain. I've been telling the nation, wait till we get Paulie on. I got some questions I want to ask him. So I've got a few, and I think the nation might as well. But before we get into this is part 2. If you haven't already liked the Wise stream, please hit the like button on YouTube. Make sure you're following us. If you're watching on Twitch, follow us on Twitch. Give us some heart action on the Periscope if you're watching us there. But if you're watching YouTube, for real, hit the like button. Goes a long way, helps us out. Allows us to continue to do the dirty. Anyway, with that said, going back to you, Paulie, give me your overall thoughts on the slate, man. I mean, we got Value City everywhere, but we got so much value that you're going to kind of have to pick and choose which ones you want, right? Because you're not going to need every one of them. What you thinking?
There's like nothing really to spend up for, you know. I mean, like Luka's out there, but there's not like a ton, you know. It's like Luka, Cat, Drummond, you know. There's a couple other like pieces you may want to spend up for, but yeah, like you're gonna have to choose between the value. It's not just like, oh, it's Terry Rozier because blah blah blah's out, you know. It's you know, there's a lot. But I mean, I think it's pretty clear. Like, maybe not pretty clear, but I know which ones I like. I'll say that.
No doubt. Let's hear it. Talk to me. I mean, normally we do the stud thing, but I think the value is where we're all starting anyway. Because by you telling me what value plays you like the most, that's going to pretty much give me an idea of what positions you're going to spend. Not that we have a lot to spend, right? But so talk to me. What are some of your favorite ones out of all the shitstorm of value plays we have today?
Hardin Stein.
Yes, he's my favorite.
Austin Rivers and Rudy Gay.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you mentioned Gay. I told them I wanted to ask you about him. I feel like if this was like, you know, last season or even the beginning of the season, if LMA was out, everybody would be loading up on Rudy Gay. Everybody would be projecting him for like 29 minutes, 30 minutes. Obviously, he's been kind of in the doghouse lately with Pop. But as you can see, it seems like everybody across the industry is afraid to project him for anything more than like 20, which seems really low considering LaMarcus Aldridge is out. Talk to me about what you think. Like, do you think he's just going to be extra efficient in those minutes, or do you honestly think he's going to play more than that?
I think he'll play a lot more, and I think he'll have significant usage. They just don't have many options. I mean, you know, they could go to, you know, everybody's favorite, Lonnie Walker, but I think Rudy Gay is going to get the start and get significantly more minutes and usage. And, you know, he's going to pretty much play the LMA role, I think. I mean, Trey Lyles already plays. Jakob kind of already plays. I think Rudy Gay is the one that sees, like, the increase from, like, you know, the 16 to 20 minutes to, like, 26 to 30 if the game calls for that much.
Fair enough. I do think that makes sense. I had similar thoughts as well. Like initially I projected him for more, and then when I looked around the industry, I was like, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something they know I don't. But definitely someone wanted to talk to you. I'll give him a little more of a boost in terms of minutes. Hardin Stein, I agree with you, right? We talked about this before. That was the one thing we did talk about. We didn't talk much today, but Hardin Stein ceiling, right? If we're going to play any of these guys, if we're talking tournaments, if we're going to play any of these guys, it's ceiling that we're chasing. And I would say he's got the highest ceiling of all the value dudes that we do have. You agree?
I mean, every time he's played, he's doubled. Like anytime he's gotten the amount of minutes that he's going to get today, he's smashed. And he was, I think, the MVP of the summer league, or if not, maybe it was a dude on Memphis, and he was second. But like, he's good, and he's going to do really well with the time and the usage that he's going to get today. He's going to get double-digit rebounds. He always seems to do that. He's going to score some points because he's going to be on the court a shit ton. There's just no getting around it. So, you know, he's probably the highest ceiling, best value play on the whole slate.
Fair enough. I'm with it. Now, talk to me about, I guess we'll go right up to the studs. I'm going to ask you about the mid-tier next, which is obviously the Eric Gordon conversation we'll have. Which from what I understand on DraftKings, people are really split on. Like, there's some people we had a dude in a YouTube chat earlier saying there's no way I can do it, and I said to him, I was like, yo, I felt the same way. Paulie, like, I told him, I gave him a spoiler alert. Paulie does like him, and Paulie's got good reasons for it. And I went over a couple of I thought the positives of the situation, some of the negatives, but we'll ask you your thoughts in a second. First, though, with all the value that we do have, what are you planning on using it for with the studs?
I'm cool with the super spend ups like Luka and Cat, but I kind of like the mid tier of like the spend ups better. Like, now we got like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Dennis Schroeder, Danilo Gallinari, Eric Gordon, DeMar DeRozan, like that group I really like. I even don't mind like Tristan Thompson. I really like Rudy Gobert. So De'Aaron Fox I really like. So like I'm not really looking to go all the way up to like Cat and Luka. I want to try to get like 5 of like De'Aaron Fox, Eric Gordon, Shea Gilgeous, Danilo, Dennis Schroeder, Tristan Thompson, Rudy Gobert, DeMar DeRozan, that grouping.
That makes sense. I also thought, like, we don't have a ton of studs, but I also thought that 8K-ish range is somewhat loaded. I love De'Aaron Fox and DeRozan and a lot of these guys as well, so I think that makes sense. Now let's get into this mid-tier action, Paulie. Talk to me about Gordon, and also after you give us the analysis on Gordon, talk to me who you like more, Gordon or Gallinari, given the situation that Gallinari is now into. Take it away.
Yeah, I like Gordon better, like for sure. Like I think that like Gallinari's situation doesn't change all that much. Like it almost might get worse because he's losing the facilitator and getting more of like a ball hog, although Schroeder's assist rates have been awesome this year. But I don't think his minutes are going to increase that much. I don't think his usage is going to increase all that much. I think like Schroeder's going to step into Chris Paul's role, and they're not going to look all that different offensively. The second unit will. I think guys like Hamidou Diallo are going to benefit. And, I don't think that like Danilo is this like major like improvement of a play than he already kind of was. Eric Gordon, I think, is going to play like the Russ Westbrook role today or James Harden role, take 30 shots. And as long as they don't get blown out by like 40 where they do pull him, like, and even if they do, he may get there in that amount of time. Like I look back a handful of times when Chris Paul and Harden missed, like his price got up to 6'8" last year if you go through. And he had like a 2-week span where he was like 6K and above when I guess both those guys were out. And he pretty much went for 30 plus every game. And, I kind of expect that. Like, I think he goes for 40 plus. I think he gets you 6-7x. So I do like him a lot in the mid tier over Gallinari.
Fair enough. I'm with it. With that said, Paulie, let's get into some, I guess, some of the more optimal plays on the slate. Let's give me 4 guys. We'll do DraftKings first. Give me 4 guys that to you, if you're doing cash today, they're the first ones in.
Hardin Stein, Podol, Austin Rivers, and what's his name? The point guard for actually Hardin Stein, Podol, Cat. Start there. I think Austin Rivers, in my opinion, should be in there. And like, I mean, I guess you could debate Austin Rivers or what do you call it? The DeJounte Murray, but I kind of prefer Rivers. And
I agree. In a cash format, I would agree. Rivers, is playing 30 plus minutes today. DeJounte Murray can only play 26. I'm with you. I like Murray better, but in tournaments, in cash games, I'm with you. It would be Austin Rivers for sure.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I thought it was going to be Luka, but I'm not seeing him anywhere near the top of these projections.
Isn't that strange?
I guess I would say DeRozan.
DeRozan. Yeah. I think that makes sense from an optimal perspective. What about Podol? Would you be willing to play him in cash, like just because of how popular he's expected to be, or no?
Yeah, he was the second
Oh, he
name
was the
I
second
said. I
name.
said
Okay.
Hardin Stein photo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Now on FanDuel, I think what we changed. Number one, you get Eric Gordon in there, who's 4,400. Number two, I would be afraid to put Podol in that one. I would be afraid to commit to Podol because of all the centers I'm sacrificing because we have value elsewhere. Like if you wanted, like Gallinari's only 6,200 over there, right? He's an option. You still got Rivers. Some guys like Ben McLemore is 5,800 on DraftKings. He's 35 or something like that, almost min price on FanDuel. So these are not guys that I, regardless, really Rivers, Hardin Stein, Rivers for sure. Who are the other two that you're locking in on FanDuel? Oh, Hardin Stein, Rivers, Gordon. You got three. You only need one more at this point. Bada bang.
Yeah.
Sucking on.
What's DeRozan? And is he the same position as Gordon?
No, Gordon is small forward. DeRozan.
Oh, nice.
DeRozan is, I got it right here, 83. So only $100 more than he was. So I'm fine with him there too.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Dirties and sevens. Nation, if you got any questions, get them in now. In the meantime, I'm going to go through, edit some of my projections, make some adjustments, and I'm going to run some crunches and see what team, like who I'm getting. By the time I update this shit, I don't remember what I done did, what I done didn't do. You know what I mean? But I'm about to right now. You're gonna say this because
I done didn't do it.
Oh yeah, you.
Oh shit! You know what I done didn't do is I didn't tell them that the cheat sheet was ready. That's what I done didn't do.
You done did fucked up. Looks like we did get a lineup for the Magic. Fultz, Fournier.
Oh, we got the Heat news.
Oh, we did get the Heat news.
This is big.
Uh-oh.
Bam and Dragic available, none out.
Ooh, Christian, none out. Dragic, holla. Man, another point guard thrown in the mix, man.
Butler remains questionable.
What the fuck you mean Butler remain questionable? How do you... Come on now. You don't know? What is that? You know what I mean? Like, Dragic available to play. Okay. Oh, well. Yeah. How we do it. See, just when I upload my projections, I got to make an adjustment. By the way, Paulie, your camera's frozen in a peculiar position. It's like
yeah, well, it's because I'm letting them know.
Oh,
how about now?
That's right.
How about now? Still?
Okay, it's off,
still
and
peculiar.
I gotta wait for it to pop back on. Boom! There it is. It's still peculiar because you're still Paulie D, but it's not as, I guess, peculiar.
We're going to the dirty screen anyway, right?
The dirty screen. Let me see. I gotta pull that up because I had to close it out. It was making my computer go too slow. Yeah. Too slow.
Paulie likes dirty.
Paulie does like the dirty screen, no doubt. I got a question in the chat from Diego Rodriguez. DeJounte Murray or Reggie Jackson?
Ooh, good question. I'd say Reggie, to be honest. I don't know. I'm not too high on DeJounte. I like Patty Mills more than DeJounte Murray. You're muted. I can't hear you. Is it me? Can you hear? Yeah, there you are. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's back. Yeah, my mic literally just stopped working. I had to unplug it and plug it back in. What were we talking about?
That was strange.
It was very strange. That was.
I said I like Patty Mills more than DeJounte Murray, right. And you started saying something, but I don't know what you were saying because I couldn't hear you.
I don't remember what I was saying, but it was something along the lines of "F you." Just kidding. No, but I think I did. I was saying I like DeJounte Murray because I know what the upside is. I would imagine they find a way to get him to play a little bit more, even if it's just a minute. But that might be all we need. Is it what 45 hundo? It's just so cheap. But I don't think that he's that much stronger of a player than Reggie because Reggie could do the same exact thing. He could play the exact same minutes and end up, you know what I mean? Like he's limited, but Murray apparently is too. Kyle Bogart has a question. Who is your lock and load stud for you?
Rudy Gobert, DeRozan. with like De'Aaron Fox not too far behind.
Yeah, definitely a good call with Gobert. Should be low owned, especially with all the value we have at center and all this dirty stuff. Yeah, I mean,
and he's just been smashing.
Yeah, he needed that fucking, what do you call that, positive regression, you know? I mean, because he started off the season, he looked awful, but he's definitely making up for it. Like he's definitely hitting that average, you know what I mean? Hitting it hard. Man, this Jimmy Butler news is gonna piss me off, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna piss me off.
I know, because like, you know,
he's another one like with
Dion Waiters. If he's out, is like,
yeah,
you know, I'm ready.
Oh, I know you're ready.
I caught some of that first day. I wish I had more though. I only had like 2%, like a bitch. Last year I would have had 30. You know, this year I'm a little too scarred from taking zeros from guys like, you know, Trey Dalla that like,
yeah. You know, well, we had one too with Boban the other day. Remember? So, you know,
yeah. I got caught a 30% zero from Boban the other day. Yep. You know,
against Whiteside. Oh, that was rough.
Yep.
Alan Crabb just got ruled out. He plays for Minnesota.
Yeah,
now, right?
Yeah. I bet.
Oh my god, I love that shit. I bet. Damn.
Did it come up on a number?
Oh shit, that shit was funny. That was good. That was good. Did I? I didn't even do that yet. What the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing right now? Y'all got me. Oh god, don't even get me on that, man. Don't even get us doing that shit all day. Let me see. All right, so I got the Miami Heat information in, except for Butler. I got him in as if he's playing at the moment. I'm just curious to see if anybody's popping, like really popping. I would imagine Dragic's got to be somewhere up here.
Yeah, I mean, they probably haven't adapted yet.
Oh, but what is his price? I don't even remember what his price was. Oh, he's 5'8".
Probably
oh,
5'8".
Yeah. No, he's 5'8". It's still not bad, but if Butler's out, it's like, then really go for it, right? Like, I mean, Waiters, of course, too.
Yeah. You think Dabo Cephaloshe gets a lot of minutes for Houston today?
I don't know, man. That's a good question. Has he played at all?
Yeah, like 14 or something yesterday. Yeah. He played 15 yesterday with Westbrook in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely possible.
Like 3 years ago, he'd be a good play.
Yeah, I would love it if he played over PJ Tucker's sorry ass. That guy, I mean, he's a great defender and all, but that dude just stands in the corner, man. You know what I mean? Like,
who's your least favorite Houston Rocket today?
Site specific too. Like Ben McLemore would be my least favorite at 5'8".
Yeah, me too. By far.
Yeah. With that said, expect a 50 burger coming in from Ben McLemore incoming.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, if it's not Eric Gordon, then it's Ben McLemore that does that dirty.
Yeah. On some freakish, shit. Just comes in and neighbor dirties of neighbors, whatnots. All right, let me see. I gotta edit Gordon now because of you, Paulie. Gonna increase his projection a little bit here. You know what I mean? Take it to the A, you know? Take it to the, Man, it's got me doing dangerous shit, man. Got me doing dangerous shit. Any Joe Ingles love tonight?
Nah. I mean, he's all right, but, I don't know. He's all right. There's not much else I could say.
Yeah. How much Hardin Stein you gonna play today?
60-70%. Yeah. Something like that.
He's gonna be my highest known player, no doubt. I'm gonna have a lot.
I mean, I think you should have a lot of him and Austin Rivers, just all of it. Remember, like, when everybody would be out for the Clippers and he would just fucking drop like 40? Like, he's going to be very similar to that.
Don't get me wrong. I like Rivers. Just what it comes down to is, like, I guess, where to spend your money. So, Like that would. So I'm assuming you're going like really underweight on Podol.
Yeah, I mean, he's like 30% on Podol,
Yeah.
25. He doesn't really excite me all that. I mean, he's just crazy cheap, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's got much more than like a 33, 34 in him.
MG's so stupid, bro.
Y'all got me fucked up.
So stupid, bro. Our boy Shockey, aka Clint, talking about Zach Lavine. You're interested in Zach Lavine coming off that ceiling game?
Yeah, I love Zach Lavine, man. People ain't recognized yet that he's like the new Harden.
Better recognize that he's the new Harden. Oh.
I mean, he's very scoring dependent, but he still gets some assists and reebs, and like he's dropping bombs lately.
Yeah, since marketing's gone down, the usage has gone up even higher. It's just cry. Even higher. It's funny. I was talking to them earlier. Like Thaddeus Young has been chalked like every day, and today he's not. Like today, nobody's gonna play him because Hardin Stein. Yeah, especially with Aldridge ruled out. You know what I mean? Like his matchup just got a little softer. It's funny.
Soft like baby butt.
Yeah, buddy. You said it, not me though. Oh, got him. If you hear the kids say that shit, it drives me crazy. That got him shit, I can't stand it. You see these kids because they say it in like this weird voice instead of just being like "got him." Like boy, you don't talk like you know what I mean. They hear him like "got him." They gotta put his like little bitch ass voice, and it drives me crazy.
That's the meme is that kid like, hey, you get them in the mail. These nuts got him. That whole thing. Yo, Derrick Rose 7,800. Like, are you buying into that?
I can't, man, because I'm expecting Reggie to slowly play more. It's gonna take away minutes. It's gonna take away usage. I couldn't. I mean, listen, if this was a slate where we didn't have so many options, then I could probably talk myself into it. I like Derrick Rose, and the matchup is glorious. The ownership's gonna be low. It's just hard for me to justify going heavy on him over like all the other plays that we have, like Jimmy Butler, for instance, who. I mean, he's only 8K, man. If he plays, what's his deal? I forgot. It was a face issue or something.
Jimmy?
Yeah. What was Jimmy's problem? Ankle.
I think it's leg. Yeah.
Right, that by the bitch.
Yeah, face was like Nerlens Noel.
Yeah, he got face surgery, man.
Watch it, brutes.
Because of Gallinari, man. Tried to take him out. Gallinari tried. I'm not getting as much OKC as I thought I would. That kind of bothers me. I'm getting like 30% Shea, 30% Gallo, but only like 9% Schroeder. I don't know how I feel about that, bro. Yeah, I gotta lower Portal a little bit here. That's what I got to do. I got to do what I got to do. And that's what I got to do. Portal, where you at? Bro, I'm coming for you, bruh. Coming for you, bruh. Alright, let's see. Ah, damn.
Y'all got me. How much DeJounte Murray you play, dog?
That's a good question. Probably somewhere around like 40 right now.
How much Chris Clemens?
Clemens I don't got a lot of, man, because like I said, as of right now, the way I have it, like guard is where I'm spending a lot of my money.
Yeah.
Like I like the Aaron Fox a ton. As of right now, again, I have Butler in, and I'm getting like a shit ton of Butler right now, which I would want if the situation is sustained. Plus, DeMar DeRozan, Luka Doncic. That's really where it's at. That's really where it's at.
Luka, can't you see?
Not even getting that much Dragic. I guess I'll worry about that if Butler's out. Otherwise, I don't even really care. We got enough guys. Oh, Derrick Rose just got ruled out. Holla. News action. Bruce Brown gonna play a lot, right?
Bust.
Yeah, that was your bust. Oh, you nailed that.
Yeah.
Derrick Rose ruled out with a knee issue. bring it. So yeah, Bruce Brown gonna play a lot. Reggie Jackson is still limited, so he can only play so much. So I would think that Brucey Bruce gets most of those. Tony Snell's also out, so Svi probably gonna play 29 to 30 minutes again.
How limited can Reggie Jackson be? I mean, he played like 23 minutes his last game.
Yeah, but they've been like really slowly easing him up. No, maybe
19 to 20. It's his third game.
Only his third. They were from 19 to 23. So you figure, I don't think they'll go from 23 to 30 though, right? So you figure what, like 26 maybe is like a fair expectation.
He's been like 30% usage. He has not even shot well, and he's gone for like 30 and then like 35.
Yeah, I know. I'm just reluctant because that's not his game. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, he sucks.
Where'd this come from?
I think
the matchup is soft. I'll give him that. This is a very soft matchup.
Yeah, and the usage is high because ain't no one else around.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Reggie's been dirty in neighbors lately. I don't know how to feel about it.
What are you projecting SGA for? Because damn, I gotta jack his ass up.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I projected him for like 39 minutes, which got me
fucked up.
Got me fucked up. 40, exactly 40 actually. Is what I got.
You like Steven Adams?
I mean, they just had him limited, but from what I see, nobody's on the injury report anymore. So I don't know. I don't love him because we got all these centers, but ownership's going to be low. And I mean, whether Paulie Stein plays or not, I mean, come on. Like, they got nobody at center. Like, it's going to stop Adams. So I'm cool with it. I don't love it. You know what I mean? But I'm cool with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to love that shit.
Long and hard. Shit. Man. What the
We come up on a number.
We got up on a number. Man. Shit. Total sign. Where you at, though? $24.07. Studzilla on them. Check the nation. Let me check the chats and see. Check the chats and see. Drummond or Gobert from our boy Bazzy 15.
Gobert.
Yeah, Gobert I think would have lower ownership. But I will admit, like with Rose out, that's a big boost for Drummond as well. Right?
It is. That's true. It's a good point. I kind of was answering that prior to that news. I mean, damn. I don't know. Drummond's been about a bitch lately, but I mean, he's gone for 61 like exactly 2 times this year against Cleveland in like the last month, and he's facing them again. And Derrick Rose ain't there this time, so you know they're both very good plays.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm still going to go with Gobert for the low ownership and would say, like, you know, in smaller field, cashier things, go Drum Dog Millionaire.
Our boy Chuck Dan has a related question. Is Gobert your top center play then? He's asking who your top center play is. Would that be Gobert?
He is. He was. I mean, Hardin Stein, I guess, is really, but you can play him at power forward. I do think Tristan Thompson's a very good center play also at his price, but yeah, it's Drummond or Gobert, and I still lean Gobert a tad, but like, with the Rose out, it's damn close. Like, man, because I mean, Drummond could really drop dirties. Like, he could go for like a burger, you know. Like, Rudy Gobert doesn't really burger all that often. He just is consistent as shit.
Yeah,
he's got nobody in his way today. Drummond's 96, Rudy's 9K. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to say Drummond's slightly better play.
Yeah, well, I also think that, like, yeah, like, optimally, he's a better play, right? Like, there's always a world where, you know, game blows out. We've seen Drummond just suck, although with Rose out, I agree, it's hard to envision. You know, I mean, you know, it's hard to envision Detroit keep, you know, I don't know. I'm with you. I think it's Drummond at this point, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know I'm trying to help you out because I know how excited you were for Gobert. I'm just trying to, like, salvage it.
Yeah, but you know, you gotta do the right thing.
Do the dirty. That's it. You know? That's it. Do the dirty.
You can't just be like, oh, I wanted to play Gobert. 100%. I thought that was gonna be great.
100%.
You know, we gotta do what's right.
Got some adaptation. 37.46. 37.46. 37.4. 6.
I also like Maxi Kleber for value today. That no one's going to be playing him at center.
How much do you think Hardin Stein is going to play today? He's 5K. I'm not interested. I'm just curious. Like, how much do you think?
You know, you got me fucked up. You think I'm playing Paulie Stein at 5K with all the value?
Oh shit! We got some starting lineup action. Check this. So, the Cleveland lineup didn't look that different. Nah, you wish. You wish, bro. The Cleveland lineup didn't look. Reggie Jackson, Svi Mihajlovic, Damboya, Thon Maker at power forward today, and Andre Drummond. The Cavs are starting Garland, Sexton, Osman, Love, Thompson. Nothing new there. No, Nerlens Noel is officially available to play, by the way.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yes. Very, very interesting. Yes. I agree.
I don't even have any interest in PJ Tucker. Why is he even in my player pool?
Man, because some of these places be projected for like massive amounts of minutes, like massive. So.
I know.
You gotta get on that long and hard horn, son. Drown him out a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Get all these guys. I'm ditching like half the field. No, Nance, I'll keep you around, although you're expensive.
Also, keep in mind, Kevin Porter Jr. is supposed to come back. Is back today.
Yeah,
I mean, and Nance is playing backup center anyway, so it's not really like, you know, I'm not that worried as far as Nance. But Nance and Thompson, I don't think they've been like the opposite. Like if one does good, the other one smash, and you know what I mean. They've not been correlating very well. Like Nance is the reason I think Thompson hasn't been playing that much lately. Is because Nance has just been playing so damn well. He's been bowling with a capital O.
D's and C's.
D's and C's. D's and C's all day. I know how it is. I get it.
Seven starting with a C, you know.
What's up?
I said that's 7 starting with a C.
Yo, you know what they say? C is for cookie. That's good enough for me. You know what I mean? Where's the Cookie Monster? Holla. Oh, yeah. I got a fucking... All right, here comes I'm about to make the Drummond update. I mean, the Derrick Rose update now. And we'll see how many of these motherfuckers I get in my squadrons.
Squad up on a Tuesday.
Yo, I had to go to a wedding yesterday. It was a dope-ass wedding, but, like, you know, obviously the... what's it called? The Kobe Bryant news, which was, you know, tragic. Kind of like jammed us up here because then there were a lot of questions. You know, we had a guy that said he couldn't write because he was too upset, and you know, so that like it kind of jammed me up because I'm like, shit, man, I gotta leave in like an hour, and but we got through it and all, but. The wedding, it was a great wedding. It was a really, I didn't really know anybody that was there. It was like a friend of my wife's, but it was cool. Like, you know, it was good food, great place, but it was kind of weird being at a wedding with a bunch of people you didn't know with Kobe Bryant situation. All I wanted to do was hear a little more, you know what I mean? I just wanted to listen what was going on a little bit. But long story short, woke up with the shits today. So I don't know if there's any correlation. I don't know if there's any correlation.
I'm wondering where you were going with that.
You know,
like, what's
how to play with the sim in the streets? You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. You know, that shit was hard, man. That shit sucked. Shit got me fucked up. Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna end up playing more Drummond than I had anticipated initially. Oh man, Reggie Jackson, yeah. Oh man, all these plays. Reggie Jackson is like, bro, he's showing up like now, like, cause you're right, man. Like with Rose out, Jackson just played 23. That's 4 more minutes a game before. He's got to play at least 26, and if you put him at 26, he becomes one of the top players on the slate at this point. Problem. Here's my question. He has not always played like this. Reggie played 35 minutes a game for the last how many years? He's not always played like this. Yeah. Do you think this is sustainable?
But he's never had as much usage.
Right, but that's my point. Like, is that here to stay? Like, why does he? Because is it because right Blake was there?
No Derrick Rose and no Blake Griffin and no nobody.
Say word.
Right now it's here to stay.
Say word. Holla, playa, streets. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with it. Reggie McJackson. That's what I'm talking about. long, and hard. Discrete mode. Reggie. Yeah, he's still projecting to be. Man, I've got him and Murray neck and neck at this point, bro. I've got 6.57x for Reggie and 6.54 for Murray. Holla at a player when you see him in the streets. It's just a wild ride, bro.
Bruh.
You know what I mean, bro? Yeah, dude. You know. It was funny, bro. Speaking of the wedding, there was one dude. He was the best man. It seemed like a cool dude. He had like one of them, he had like the side shave in the back, but then he had the long hair up top, the ponytail status and all that. So he did his thing on the dance floor. And I'm noticing, I'm like, yo, he's the best man. He's not dancing all that much. And I'm like, man, you're the best man. You gotta, even if you don't like to do it, you gotta do it. You gotta do it for your homeboy. You gotta get up there and make a fool out of yourself if you had to. Then some rock.
You're embarrassed yourself.
Yeah, you have to. That comes with the responsibility of being the best man. And then some rock song came on, and the dude went out there, pulled his ponytail thing out, and was just like rocking hard, man, banging his head and shit. I was like, shit, look at him get it. And then of course, who else got long hair? This guy, so people start looking at me next. Yeah. I'm like, nah, y'all got me fucked up.
I would love to see someone like point like, yeah, you're next. Like, you're like, don't even fucking think about it. Amy, fucking out of here. Another white guy.
Not me.
Not me. Not happening. Not today. Not never.
Not me.
I bet. Oh man,
damn, mine is just scrambling, man.
Going off rails nowadays.
Alright, I'm gonna actually try to do a real crunch now and see. Every time I've uploaded these bitches, I've had to make an adjustment because news came out. Let's see. Is this me? Is this me? For me today. Somebody asked Paulie. Somebody asked earlier in the chat. It was a really good question. I talked about it a little bit. I told the nation to ultimately let him know why we were there. But he asked, he goes, how are we different from the other DFS companies and DFS shows? What would you say? What do you think?
So, number one, like, when I, like, look around, like, other companies, I feel like they're very cookie cutter. Like, everyone's kind of, like, married to, like, the very similar projections and, like, I know that we give very unique takes and like, I feel like we dig deeper into the slates and give you guys like the approach that most of you are coming from. Like we're not these 150 max and the $15 and $44 contests and, playing the chalk. Like we've got to approach the field a little differently and knowing what the field is at and how to compete against that is really like the point of view that like we're coming from. And I think like as a player, that's what I would want. I wouldn't want to just go like when I like look at like Awesomo's show, there's 3,000 people listening to it. Like I don't want to follow 3,000 people into my 9,000 man $2 GPP field. Like I want to be different. So I think we give you like a deeper perspective or analysis into like not only the slate, but the fields and different and more unique and less cookie cutter. So, we're going to lay it on the table. You may get a 0 at 30% Boban, but, last year we got, 30X of, 2% Boban. It was glorious, so, there's ups and downs like everywhere, but I think that like we approach like how to play the fields going against those large companies versus like just being like them.
It's a solid answer, man. You put a lot of. It sounded like it came from the heart. My answer was we're just cooler than everybody else, which I do believe. 100, like I do.
That's the like. Who would you want in a fight, me or us?
Not even.
Who do you want behind you?
Oh no! Don't even. Oh no! Poor dude. He's about to be like, how did I end up in a fight with you, man? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, you didn't fight with me. I'm just saying, like, who would you rather behind you when you're in a
I know. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, straight up, compare. You make the decision. But I thought that was a really good question because people don't often give us the opportunity to do the dirty.
Yeah.
Daniel D has a question. Who gets bumped with Aldridge out?
Rudy Gay, Trey Lyles, Podol, and everyone. But DeMar DeRozan, Lonnie Walker should see more time. I think Patty Mills, DeJounte Murray, but Rudy Gay, DeMar DeRozan, number one. Like, he's the best player right now from that team. Then probably Podol, Gay, or Gay Podol, and then Mills and Murray. Those five.
Yeah, I'm with it. By the way, guys, appreciate those of you who are still rocking with us as we wind down the second hour, waiting for news. If you could hit that like button on YouTube, if you're watching, those of you watching on YouTube, likes go a long way, really help us out. So please hit the likes.
Liking,
bro. Shocky's in here. He's saying some stuff, man. I don't know where this is coming from, but Clint Shockey, NHL guy, bro. He said, "What height hoop do you think Paulie could dunk on?" I say 6.5 feet. Like, where is this coming from?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 5'11", and I never actually was able to dunk a real basketball, but I did dunk a woman's ball, and this is 10 years ago when I was a fucking premium athlete. Now I'm fat as fuck and can barely move out of my own way. But I think I can still get 8 right now.
Oh man, I'm just trying to figure out where this is coming from Shockey, bro.
Right?
It's out of the
This
woodwork.
Got to be that's no problem.
Out of the woodwork. And then I'm reading more. I left him out, man. He said, "Paulie, let's go 1-on-1, bro. Let's go 1-on-1." Are you talking about basketball? I hope you're talking about basketball, Shockey. Young man.
I'm pretty good. Don't let this fucking big body deceive you.
Beat him in a
I
post.
was a Division II fucking starting cornerback.
Boom.
Corner,
son.
Corner. The only white corner.
They call him Wheels.
In the entire. But yeah, I did put on a little weight since then.
Hey man, life's happens. It's hard, man. Bro, are you kidding? When I was freaking Clint's age, man, I was jumping off the top rope, dropping elbows on people, and doing super kicks at people. I wearing baby oil. I was in shape, man. 185 pounds. I was ripped up. Lots changed since then. You know what I mean? Lots changed since then, man. Now I'm 31 years old. Things are a little different, Not getting hit in the head with chairs anymore. That's a positive. You know what I'm saying? Not working out nearly as hard as I used to. I still work out, but not nearly as hard as I used to. That's a negative. So, hey, take the good with the bad as you would go on. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't retire like 6 drug dealers over the last 10 years, if I retired, give them so much money that they retired, I probably still could be in good shape.
He's set up a lot of people for life, man. It's very good of you to do that. People out there.
They still call me like, yo, where you at? Where you been? I'm like, I don't live in New Jersey no more, bro.
Should try to bring you some gifts and stuff. You're like, yo.
Yeah. Right, but if you're ever up around this way, hit me up,
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no doubt.
Good.
No doubt, bro, no doubt. Yeah. But really, it's like,
you
ain't hitting them up, though.
No, I ain't hitting nobody up anymore.
Let me ask you a question about today specifically, right? So DraftKings opened up a second 25%, right? The 150 max. So say you did one already and there's like 30,000 people. Second one's only got 11,000 people, but there's only 500 up top. Would you put in 150 different lineups, or would you just put the same 150 in both of them to like double the prize up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the fields are different. One's 11,000, one's like 30-some thousand. That's a pretty drastic difference.
I think I would just make them all different. If you win 500 from that second one, you're still gonna be fairly happy.
Yeah, that's true. Be a little pissed, but yeah, true. Oh,
I mean, you
know me. You know how I do it. Jimmy Butler will play, by the way. You know me, though. You know how I do. I will always be mad, no matter what. I live that way. So how much buckets you looking at, man? Because like in all reality, he becomes like a pretty elite option at this point, right? Like, I mean, Dragic is there. Do we have a starting lineup? Let's look at that. We got a starting lineup for these. Oh yeah, Butler, Hero, Robinson. Wow, yeah, Butler's starting at point guard, man. Butler, Hero, Robinson, Leonard, Adebayo. So they're not starting Dragic either way.
Nah, he's gonna keep his off the bench role, but he'll play a lot of minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Big ass when he's doing
But
it.
obviously, it's better for Butler, that he comes off, that Dragic's off the bench. It's gonna be the Jimmy Bucket show. Let me see. But
They
got me fucked up. Butler, 45.1. Butler. Damn it. Be getting me all kinds of crazy. We got 10 minutes to lock, nation. Act right for you good.
So I guess I don't need Dion Waiters.
Oh, yeah. That's.
I mean, he made a little off the bench.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure he'll play at least a little. Well,
yeah, I mean, Jimmy's good. I'm gonna put a 40-piece cap on him. 40 pieces. Yeah, he's good.
40 pieces, ass.
I mean, him or DeRozan.
I know. I know. It's kind of where I'm stuck. I don't know which one I like more. Initially, it was DeRozan all day, but I don't know, man. Butler's even cheaper. You know what I mean? And like DeRozan is on like a tougher schedule stretch. You know, Butler and the Heat have had like 2 days off. Then again, Butler's also dealing with like a little ankle injury, which has to be bothering him to some degree if he was even questionable today. You know, just talking out loud as I try to contemplate what I'm doing. All right, 9 minutes to lock. Let's go. Let's go. Whoa. Yeah, buddy. Crap real quick. Sorry.
Damn. I wasn't ready for that at all.
I bet. Why am I getting so much Donovan Mitchell right now? At 7-9? How did he possibly project for anything like better than... You couldn't think of a more productive way to spend my money than him? What the hell?
I mean, he's got no defense coming at him. He's going to do whatever he wants, and he does have the highest usage in that offense. So he's not a bad player.
No, not by any means. But I didn't expect to get more of him than, like, you know, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and those kind of guys, you know?
Yeah, I feel it. I feel that. I feel that.
Well, maybe I'll let it rock. Maybe it's not going to give me as much as I thought.
I bet.
Mitchy Mitch.
Big. Damn. These are going to be fucking dupes. I already know it.
The duplicates? You got some duplicate issues?
Yeah. Whenever I do like a 5-man stack and I drop it down to a 4 and I get the same exact amount of teams, they're always dupes.
Oh, man. You be getting duped and stuff. Holy hell, I'm getting a lot of Drummond. Wow. Drum dog slumming. Man, my whole computer is doing dirties to me right now, man. Bullshit.
Put it in the air. Five, 4, 3, 2. Yo, only 3 teams. What?
7 minutes, nation. 7 minutes.
This is some bullshit.
How much Drummond you playing, bro?
A lot.
A lot.
I'll tell you.
Like Plant, like Earth is Planet a lot.
Like 60.
Yeah. I feel you.
One team for real.
Damn, they got you fucked up.
Yeah.
6 minutes to lock nation. Trying to let this final thing do its dirty.
One team? How can it be one team?
It's giggity. It's giggity. It's always the sweat when you're doing 320 teams for like how quickly will this process? Will it process in time? And like worst of all, what if it gives you something you don't like? You know what I mean? You get it's a mad scramble. It's the mad scramble. We're up to
Maddington.
Let's see. We're up to 115 teams at this moment. So we'll see. I got 5 minutes to get up to 320. Let's see. I got a backup one there. So like if it's too close, I'll just put the backup one in. But
there you go, backing up. 2 weeks ago, you had no backups.
Oh my god, don't even remind me of that. Oh, that was such a disaster. I had a couple of those lately where I just had made bonehead decisions, just made dumb rookie decisions, you know. But in a sense, it's funny because we're always constantly changing our content to try to like adjust to what people are looking for and what will help people the best, and we get feedback from our people. So like incorporating this show, it was like being a rookie all over again. We've been on shows, but we have been on shows and we had to build our teams while we were on the show. Like you know what I mean, balancing all that, updating the projections and everything else. It was you know, it was a lot. We're up to 175
Pippen
teams
easy.
with 4 minutes.
Pippen ain't easy.
No, Pippen ain't easy. I try to tell people that, but you know.
Yeah. Who's like your top 5 highest owned dogs?
Right now, Hardin Stein, Murray, Jackson, Butler, De'Aaron Fox, Drummond, and Podol. Podol will be after that. I don't know if I gave you 5, so I said one more just in case. This wasn't counting. I was just lifting off. What about you?
I'll tell you in 2 minutes once I do this big dog crunch. I had all these fucking like 2-team crunches. I don't know. I did 100% 3-man stacks from Houston, and it spit out 6 lineups. Then I did 100% 4-man stacks from Houston, and it spit out 1 lineup. 100% 5-man stacks, 1 lineup. Like, how can it only be 1 lineup?
That don't make no sense.
You know, I was thinking give me like 10 of like, you know, 3 different Rockets alternate.
Right.
You know?
That is weird.
Yeah.
Very weird, bro.
So
3 minutes and it's at 2:42. It's gonna come real close, bro. Real close. Let's go. It's trying to find them unique combinations and it's getting horde. Real horde. What's the first game again? Cleveland, right?
yeah.
Right at the gate. Come on, bro. You got this. You gotta like sweet talk it. Give it the motivation that it needs to succeed. Come on. I mean, at this rate, it's going like, it's got to be something like 5 teams a minute, which would not be quick enough. 2 minutes to lock nation.
Not even close.
2 minutes to lock. I was exaggerating because of my frustrations, but you know what I mean. Come on. Come on. 275. Are we gonna make it? Again, I'm good. I got like something uploaded, so it's fine. This is just a more updated one. I'll late swap it after regardless, but I just want to see if we could beat it. One of them 320s. Because I would like to do these more often, like just do more teams. It's just like this is the problem. When you get the news later on, it takes a while to build those teams. Even with fantasy crunch.
Yeah, I want to know how those freaks are doing it. You know, with like
they must have these
on multiple sites.
Bro, I know. They probably got those freak computers, man, that give you blowjobs on the side. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about.
Where do you get those?
I heard of them. They exist. We got 1 minute to lock. Whoa. We're at 3:02. It's gonna be real tight. 3:03, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
I think you're a minute early too.
Oh, for real?
Boom.
Oh, you're right. You're right. My laptop is showing 6:59, but my computer is showing 6:58. So we'll see. You are 10 teams away from making this magic happen, baby. Come on, baby. 5 more teams. You got this. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I skipped. It's really 6, and I said 5, and that last one took forever, though. And we are there. Yes. Yes, we did it. I think. Do. And who was right? Oh, got it in just in time. Holla at a player when you see him in the streets. Got it in the time. 320 teams. Let's go. Late swap action. Going to be fun later. Hardin Stein, Paulie, Butler, Murray, Reggie Jackson, De'Aaron Fox, Andre Drummond, Luka Doncic. Some of the players I have the most of. That is going to do it for today's edition. Appreciate those of you that did hang out with us all the way up for the entire 2 hours. If you could hit the like button. You know. Diego says hot side BJ is very underrated by making lineups. Agreed. Let's see. Yeah, sorry we didn't get anybody that had questions at the end. Sorry, at the very, very end, it's hard for us to get to those when it's just the two of us because we got our own teams we got to build at the same time. But appreciate you guys that rock with us. Hit the like button. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 2 hours before lock as usual. I think, before I open my big mouth. Do we have a slate tomorrow? Did you hear that?
The Lakers game got canceled.
Yeah, okay. I was just going to ask if you heard about that, yeah. But I'm pretty sure that all the other games... Yeah, okay. So, we got a decent-sized slate even without that. So, yeah, we'll be back at it tomorrow, 2 hours prior to lock. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, don't forget to check out the Core 4 First Look, which will be out on YouTube later tonight for tomorrow's slate. And the First Look podcast that I do Monday through Friday, you can find this only audio. So you can get it from the Apple Podcast, search WiseTake, or you can get it from Podbean, wisetake.podbean.com if you are not an Apple user. For Paulie D, for myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.